What's up, guys? It's Meg. Welcome back. It is so good to see you. I know it's been a while since the finale of The Walking Dead aired and I have not been putting out any videos. I have also skipped the last 2 issues of The Walking Dead comic, not for any particular reason, although I couldn't find 165 for a while, so I finally found it, read it, oh my gosh, then read 166, oh my gosh, then read 167, oh my gosh. What an incredibly sad issue. Like, seriously, an end of an era. But before we get into this, I just wanted to say hi. I missed you guys. I know I have not been doing a lot of videos lately. Kind of stepping back from YouTube a little bit to pursue some other activities outside. I bought a van that I'm turning into a camper van. Just lots of things going on. Still working at the hotel at night, so I've been busy doing that. Also trying to get together ideas and things to start my own apothecary herbal medicine business. So I got a lot going on right now, but more videos to come, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys about issue 167. I couldn't not do a video about it. It was such an incredible issue. I mean, literally, when have we ever had this kind of goodbye for one of our Walking Dead comic characters? I mean, it was just so sad and yet so beautiful to be able to get to say goodbye, and everyone was getting to say goodbye, and oh my God, I was just a crying mess. I probably should have filmed a reaction to it because I was just bawling my eyes out. It was so friggin' sad. Let's get started. Okay, backing up just a little bit to 165. We're finishing up the kind of Whisperer War thing. They've got all of the Walker herd is on Alexandria, but Andrea and Eugene and Michonne and just all of these people have come together, and they're leading the big herds, you know, splitting them up, leading them away, leading them to the ocean. Eugene gets himself in trouble and Andrea goes to save him. We don't realize at that point that she has gotten bit. At the end of the issue, we see a bite mark on her neck, and I have to admit that I was hoping that it was like a bullet graze or something, and it was like deep down I knew that it wasn't, but part of me was seriously hoping that we would, you know, that Robert Kirkman, that they were just trying to troll us with Andrea's death, because I mean, we've all been predicting that Andrea was gonna die for a really long time now. So to have it finally happen was a bit of a shock to the system, you know? It's kind of one of those things that you know is gonna happen and you really feel it, but you're also really hoping that it doesn't happen because it's just awful, and she's literally one of my favorite characters. I mean, she's just been amazing this whole time, and it's so sad because we don't have the Andrea in the television show. So it's just so sad to finally be saying goodbye to this character really for good. Excuse me while I take a coffee break real fast. It's only 4:30 in the afternoon, but I just woke up, if you couldn't tell. That's why I kind of look a hot mess right now. Yeah, anyways, sorry. I was like, I've been looking at that coffee while I'm talking to you. So the end of 165, we have Andrea realizing she's been bit, or maybe she knew the whole time, but us realizing she's been bit. 166 comes, and we are back at the sanctuary. We have Rick with his face down with the remaining saviors run by Sherry, and Sherry has kind of come to a, I don't know, Sherry is just, I don't know, you know, you don't have much interaction with her since Negan's been gone, and since she's kind of been running the saviors. We don't see them a lot, but we kind of we see her gunning for Rick in the sanctuary, and they're gonna take back what's left. And so Rick and her have this meeting, and she is just, you can't talk to her. Like, there's no talking her down from what she wants to do. I mean, nowhere has Rick ever said, like, you're under my control, I'm your Negan, you know what I mean? And he's trying to explain this, like, you don't have to do what I say. You know, I don't remember the exact conversation. I don't have the comic issue to pull it out, but you know, he's trying to reason with her, like, whoa, you're blowing this out of proportion. We all help each other. Like, nobody's required to do anything, but we're a community, you know, of places, and we help each other. And they obviously, the big issue here is that the saviors didn't come to Rick's aid when the Alpha and, you know, not Alpha, sorry, when the Whisperers were coming with their herds and stuff. You know, they didn't come. So that's the big issue here. Anyways, Sherry is just, you can't reason with her. There's no reasoning with her. And she attacks Rick, and Rick accidentally, because Lord knows he can't hardly kill anyone anymore anyways. The dude can barely move. But he throws her back and he knocks her head, and it's like this freak accident, you know? And it's like, he wasn't even trying to kill her. Although, you know, of course he's gonna defend himself, but he's not even trying to kill her, and she just happens to just hit her head just right on the table, knocks her out. Like, what the fuck? Oh my God, talk about like poor timing, okay? So she's dead in there. He's like, shit, what do I do? The saviors are outside waiting, and Andrea comes in and collapses on the floor, and he realizes she's been bit. So that's been put on hold. Dwight comes in now, you know, here, right? Is it Dwight's in this? Is Dwight in this issue or the last one? No. Dwight comes in the, let's see. No, Dwight comes in this issue, in issue 167. All my issues are running together right now, and sees it, and it was almost a shock for me because he is extremely angry. Like, you can see, like, shit, you just, now he hasn't been with Sherry in a long time, but we have to remember that Sherry is the one that didn't want to be with him. It was not the other way around. She chose to not come back to him. And so he obviously, which you can see in this, still has some sort of feelings for her because he is extremely upset to find out that she is dead. And this look on his face right here says it all. I am convinced that he is no longer Rick's friend here. Now, this whole issue is Rick and Andrea's death, and everyone saying goodbye, and Rick trying to figure out how the world goes on after Andrea is no longer in it. And they're talking about how it's okay, let Dwight just do it. Dwight's taking care of the saviors, like he's gonna figure it out. But honestly, like, I'm not so sure about that. They think Dwight's taking care of it, and he's very upset over this. And Rick hasn't really, you know, had a chance to explain what happens. He kind of says it briefly, but, you know, I don't know that it's enough for Dwight to understand completely, because, you know, this is someone that he loved for a very long time. He was married to her, you know, those feelings don't just go away like that. Moving on though, this Andrea, goodbye. Like, I literally, she is so tough even in the end. So tough. She's like, don't cry around me. There's nothing more you have to say. Like, anything you have to say, I already know, to Rick. And it's just one of the most heartbreaking goodbyes. And I really, like, it really made me as sad as the Glenn death. And I think those are like my top two here of ones that were really incredibly sad and like really hit you hard. You know, with Glenn, it was so sudden and so gruesome and so gory, and you were just like, oh my gosh, what is happening? What did I just see? How do we go on from here, you know? And that was so long ago that we had that, and people have died since then, and died in shocking ways. You know, we have the Whisperer heads on the stick. I mean, people have died in shocking ways since then, but I don't think one has really affected me as much as this Andrea one since Glenn. And mind you, Andrea is a huge character. I mean, she's obviously I'm very sad about it, but the way we got to say goodbye to her, okay, and she said it herself, she couldn't have a better death. You know, she's at home in her bed, surrounded by the people that she cares about. All these people are able to come in and say goodbye, and make peace with that. And in the zombie apocalypse, end of the world, it is so rare that you get to make peace with or to say goodbye to people that you care about, and to be able to really like have that closure. And so that's what I really found so beautiful about this, is it, even having that closure doesn't make it any easier, but it's, I mean, I guess maybe it does in the end make it easier, not right away, but, you know, you don't have all those things that you wish you had said, I guess. And that's what really got me with this issue, is because what I love about the Walking Dead comic is you can always relate, even though it's a zombie apocalypse, even though it's the end of the world, even though you've probably never been put in these situations at all. The writing is so good that you can really relate to the emotions and what's going on, and you can put yourself in their shoes. And that's a big thing, you know, with death, is that not being able to say goodbye, not being able to say, you know, make your peace with it, is always more difficult than being able to at least say goodbye. You're not walking around with that, you know. So this whole time Andrea is, you know, telling Rick to be strong, and Rick is like, He doesn't know how he's gonna do it, obviously. I mean, who would? It is literally the saddest thing ever. And the end, it was so beautiful. So she comes back as a walker. He has to put her down as a walker. Seriously, so upsetting. I'm just trying to find the spot here. And what I love about the Walking Dead comics is we have all these little panels, you know, the story that they're saying, but these huge momentous, am I saying that right? Moments, these huge moments that happen always, like, they give them an entire page. And so this moment is like, she is dead, there's no coming back. And it's just this beautiful, and I don't think I've ever said that about, like, hey, here's a dead walker. It's beautiful. But it's just, you see Rick there, and he's just utterly broken in this moment. And you see Andrea, the love of his life, you know, the person who has gotten him through all of this. They've been a team, and suddenly you're not a team anymore. You're alone. And it's just so heartbreaking to see this. But I love, I guess my point is, I love that they devoted a whole page to this. And there was also, in the end, there's a whole page to this moment as well. And it's funny, growing up, going to church a lot for me, this image so reminded me of when you go to church, and a lot of you might not know this, but growing up in you know, around, my grandma used to take us to church all the time, and you see this a lot, and it's called the laying on of hands, and where people are praying for you and people will lay hands on you, and then if other people that are praying for you as well can't reach you, they lay hands on everyone else, and it's supposed to kind of pour strength into, and prayers in from the back people into the person they're praying for. And I just, that was the image that kind of popped out in my head when I saw this page here. And you know, obviously they're not praying for him here, but it's a powerful moment because Carl is standing there, and I feel like I'm gonna cry talking about it, but Carl's standing there, he's got his hands on his dad's shoulders. Throughout all of this, you know, all these people are coming out, and God, I'm getting so emotional. But you know, Rick steps out and he knows he has to deal with the saviors, but at this point he's kind of like, his words here right before, so he kills her, and he says, whew, there's no talking in like the last like 4 pages, there's like no talking, but he says, he's laying there with her before she turns into a walker, and he says, I can't do this, I won't, you know. And he's just, and he, you know, he's talking, I can't keep this up, pushing myself beyond fear, forcing myself to cross these lines, forcing myself to survive when so many others don't. I just killed a woman a matter of hours ago. This isn't who I want to be. I can't do it. I won't. And he doesn't really speak again besides saying Andrea when she comes back. You know, they're kind of wrestling as a walker. He kills her. He sits there, is mourning her. He comes and he steps outside. And you see these boxes, and at first I was like, I'm confused what's going on here, but you see these boxes and he's not speaking. All of these people are standing here waiting for him to come out, and they're sad and they know what's happened. And Andrea's voice is kind of like, it's a voiceover, you know. Imagine if you were watching the TV show, it's like Maggie's voiceover at the end of the season finale. It's Andrea's voice and what she told Rick right before she dies, and it's giving him strength here. And he comes out and he sees all these people, and he's got to move on, and he's got to stay strong, and he's got shit to do. And Andrea's voice is kind of in his head while this is happening, and he, you know, falls to his knees. Carl puts his hands on him. Everyone else comes around, and it's like they're pouring their strength into him. They believe in him, and they're pouring their strength into him and willing him to go on, and we've got to keep going, you know. And oh my God, why am I crying? Did anybody else cry watching this, or not watching this, reading this issue? Because I cannot be the only one, right? I mean, it's like super emotional. I loved Andrea, so I'm sorry, but it's just what I love about this comic so much is and the same with the TV show, is the feelings that you get when reading it, when watching it. Like, it really pulls you in, and you really fall in love with these characters. And so when, and I say this all the time about the show, but the same for the comic, when someone you really love in the comic dies, like, boy, it hits you hard. Like, you really feel like you knew that person, kind of. And maybe that's just what happens when you get really obsessed with a show or a comic, but man, this moment is just so powerful. And I just love it. Everyone's reaching, and you know, they might not be able to touch Rick, but they're kind of pouring their power into him and giving him strength and letting him know that he's not alone. You know, and it's one of those things where it's kind of like, you don't know, there's nothing you can say when someone's lost someone. You know, you can say, I'm so sorry. You can say, there's all these things that you want to say, but nothing makes it better. And so they're not even, you know, Carl says, I'm so sorry, Dad, but everyone else is just there for him. And that's really all you can do when someone loses something, is just be there for them. And so he's sitting here and he rises up, and I love it. He gets to his feet and he's still hearing Andrea's, you know, speech. And this final page is just, and it's almost like, you know, a new Rick, another new beginning here. And he says, follow me, there is still so much to do. Kind of reminds me of like Jesus or something. I don't know, but it's just there's still so much to do. I mean, tell me that was not the best ending to this issue. He's broken and then he's not, you know, and he gets up and he's still strong Rick, powerful Rick. And then what I really appreciated was the letter in the end from Robert Kirkman, because a lot of fans of the comics, you know, it's very hard for us to lose these characters, and I was pleasantly surprised that and appreciative that Robert Kirkman decided to write that letter to us in the end and explain himself. I'm sure that I haven't really gone on social media a lot to like look at the reaction to Andrea's death. I feel like obviously we knew it was coming, so we've had kind of time to prepare ourselves for the last 2 issues. But you know, obviously there are going to be some people that are really angry about Andrea dying. A lot of people probably not understanding why, and I appreciated that that he was able to kind of apologize but explain himself too. I mean, I've always heard that when you're writing a book, when you're writing anything, that once you've developed these characters in the story, like they tell you the story, you kind of have an idea of where you want to go, but sometimes you just know what has to happen, and you know that even though you love this character, this is a character that has to die in order to progress the story, and it's not even necessarily something you choose, and I completely understand that. But yeah, I just appreciated that at the end. An incredible issue, and now we have to figure out what is going to happen with the Saviors and Dwight. And I honestly, like, I have this feeling that Dwight may switch sides. I mean, this may just be something that pushes him over the edge. He's been very loyal to Rick, and I don't think anything would make him turn on Rick except Sherry. I mean, he never chose to not be with her, and so, you know, I don't know, it's just, I feel like this is a lot for him, that look on his face, and I'm hoping that he proves me wrong. I'm hoping that, I think there's a comic cover or a preview somewhere, I saw it, and now I don't remember, but I feel like I wish it was in here. You'll have to tell me. I know y'all pay more attention than I do, but there was a comic, either a comic cover or a panel preview or something of Dwight getting really angry, or maybe that was in the preview for this. I don't know. But it kind of led you to believe like he's not so happy with Rick. And you're kind of left wondering, well, is he gonna go back to the Saviors? Is he not? I'm kind of hoping he doesn't, but what are the Saviors gonna do without Sherry? Who's gonna fill that spot? You know, is this what's gonna make Dwight go back and lead the Saviors? Because he was, and then he left because he didn't want it, you know, and Sherry kind of took over that. So you're kind of left wondering, is he gonna go back? Is he gonna lead them? Is he going to not be happy with Rick and go against Rick? I don't know. But everything is kind of left open to see where we go from here. We still have Negan, who's a good guy now, which you never thought you'd say that, but apparently he's a good guy now. I don't know, he even got to say goodbye to Andrea. I don't know, where do we go from here? I would love to know what your guys' predictions are in the comments. This is a 20-minute video, I'm sorry. I haven't talked to you in so long, I miss you guys. Yeah, if you have anything else you want me to talk about or anything for future videos, let me know. I will definitely be reacting to Fear the Walking Dead. I'm gonna try and do review videos again, but I'm not promising anything. I say that all the time, and life just gets in the way, and it's been a lot harder for me to film videos lately. I have very bad anxiety, which I think a lot of you guys know, and so sometimes I just feel like I can't do this video, or I put it off. Like for example, 166, I read it, I put it off forever, doing the review, just like this review is late. Obviously it came out Wednesday, it's Saturday now. I put it off forever because I'm like, oh, I don't feel good today, or oh, I don't look good today. And you know, I think a lot of you guys know with anxiety, it's hard to put yourself out there sometimes. And even though I'm talking to a camera, it's like I can see all of you guys in that camera lens and you're all judging me. No, I know you're not, but it's one of those weird anxiety things where I just it's hard for me sometimes to sit down and speak to you guys. So I totally love you guys for sticking around, but I understand if you don't stick around because it's annoying. But I will be doing Fear the Walking Dead reaction videos, maybe reviews, we'll see how it goes, but I will always talk about it in the end of the reaction videos anyways, a little bit, so you're still gonna get some of that talking, and we can talk in the comments as well. I'm gonna end this video now. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. It's gorgeous outside here, so I hope you guys are enjoying and having good weather where you are as well. I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye.